Welcome everyone to a Good Vibes Gaming preview discussion, one that I didn't actually get to take part in, but you know who did? Our very own Brandon Miracle, who got the chance to go to PAX West and go hands-on with a nice, short and sweet tease-filled demo of Bayonetta 3. And I guess it's the first time anybody's really had a chance to go hands-on with it. Of course, there are others there, but you want to know our opinions, or more specifically, Brandon's opinions. And this is a game I'm definitely excited for. I loved Bayonetta 2. And Brandon, I got to know right off the bat, did you go away with good impressions? Is this looking even better?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, if you love Bayonetta 1 and 2, everything you love about those games, it's that and more.
Okay, preview over. That's all I needed to know.
There we go.
Yeah. No, that's great. What did the demo consist of? I guess the big question here.
So it was a short part of the early single player. You start on a subway train where you do, some practice combat against a couple enemies, followed by this bombastic chase sequence where you're transformed into Gamora, I believe, and you're running along the sides of skyscrapers on all fours, like defying gravity and all that, just dodging buildings that are being thrown at you and other ridiculous things like that. At one point, the building starts to curve over you, like Doctor Strange style.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous. Like, the kind of ridiculousness you come to expect from Bayonetta. But I think my favorite part of that sequence is you end up in a river at one point, and Gamora uses 4 water jet skis to glide along the water. It's the funniest thing ever. When we got to that point in the demo, we all started laughing because it's just ridiculous. Like, the kind of stupid ridiculous that makes Bayonetta so special.
That sounds amazing. I was wondering how they were going to top the opening to Bayonetta 2, because that is just a standout of, like, there's insanity happening right now, and I don't even know how to process it, but it's awesome as hell, and that seems to be pretty close for this. I'm assuming this is the beginning of Bayonetta 3, like this is probably opening hours.
They didn't say specifically, but they did say it was early on, so I suspect it's very, very close to the beginning of the game.
They usually like to give a nice little taste of, like, okay, here's all the crazy stuff you'll get into, and then we'll get into the more, standard gameplay, standard in quotes, of course, but yeah. And it sounds like combat felt just as smooth as ever.
It did. It felt like getting back on a bicycle, after not riding for a while. The treehouse people were impressed every time I got a witch time. And I haven't played Bayonetta 2 since launch, but it all came very naturally to me.
That's awesome to hear. It's funny too how you can just sort of jump right into Bayonetta, because I still have yet to play Bayonetta 1, but I adored 2, and just really looking forward to getting to this one. How did it feel to play as Gamora? Did it change up the gameplay significantly, or is it just bigger Bayonetta?
In the specific sequence I mentioned, it was kind of an on-rails thing. But I'm glad you brought that up, because they've given you the ability to summon Gamora and Madama Butterfly and play as them directly in their full giant kaiju forms in regular combat. Bayonetta will be off to the side dancing to puppet the demons, and she's vulnerable during this. So, like, if you're near an enemy and you bring out Madama Butterfly or Gamora, an enemy could come up to her and she could take damage. It's so crazy being able to just summon Madama Butterfly, who's like 70 times bigger than you are, and basically just step on these puny little enemies. It's like the best power fantasy you could ask for.
I'm assuming they had you fighting angels during this.
I believe it's a new enemy type. I can't quite remember what exactly. They're being kind of cagey with what's going on in the plot, but I don't believe they were angels.
Okay, yeah, because I know we had angels in the first one, then angels and demons in the second, so it makes sense to introduce a third type of enemy this time around.
Yeah.
And I assume they gave you barely any plot as far as what's going on. It's just like, here, enjoy the insanity.
Nope, they really didn't want to talk about story.
What kind of weapons did you get to check out? Like, what were you equipped with when it came to Bayonetta's moveset?
Her triple-barreled guns, because it's Bayonetta 3, so of course.
Of course.
And they also gave me a hammer. Like Monster Hunter-sized hammer. Just this giant hammer that's bigger than you are. You swing your entire body weight around. It felt pretty good to play. I actually, during my demo, I forgot that you could even do that. They told me at the beginning, and they mentioned it to me again while I was fighting my last enemy. So I brought it out, swung it like 2 or 3 times, and then the demo ended. But I can tell you, those 2 or 3 swings I got, they felt good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, shame I didn't get to try this more.
Yeah, they definitely left me wanting.
They knew what they were doing, because, this comes out on October 31st? We don't have that long to wait, which is honestly kind of amazing.
You know, we barely know anything yet.
What else has stood out? Like, I guess the big question is, since this is a demo, it might even be like a preview of the full release at this point, since there's so little time until it is released. But notice any slowdown, graphical glitches, anything like that? Did it seem pretty polished?
Yeah, I didn't feel really any slowdown at all. The gameplay felt super smooth, very responsive. I don't know if it was the TV, but the visuals weren't, perfect. They're what you would expect from a Nintendo Switch game. And it's been like I said, it's been a long time since I played Bayonetta 2, but I do feel like I remember that one looking a little bit smoother overall in terms of pixel density, but then again, it's hard to comment on that before the final release. That said, the big thing, performance, was rock solid for me.
I'm assuming 60 FPS?
Yes, wouldn't have it any other way.
I was assuming so, but I'm notably terrible at picking up whether it's 30 or 60, so I know you're not. You can definitely tell right away.
Oh yeah, I would have noticed.
Nice. Trying to think what else, because it is like, this demo had to have only taken you 10 to 15 minutes?
Yes, it was very brief. We did get a look at a new maneuver. So like in Bayonetta 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could transform into a wolf to sprint. Am I remembering that right?
Like a panther, yes.
Yeah. In this game, depending on I almost called him Kaiju, depending on the demon you have equipped, you actually transform into a Bayonetta-sized version of that demon, and then you can sprint, which I thought was really neat. So not only can you summon the demons for combat in their full forms, you can take over their bodies and speed up when you're traversing the world.
That seems to be the big thing with Bayonetta 3 is much more control over the demons. It's not just accentuations or finishers this time around.
Yeah.
It's integrating them into the moveset, into what Bayonetta is capable of, which honestly it seems like a pretty natural extension of what she's been able to do up to this point.
Yeah, and I should mention, when I was using the fully powered full form Madama Butterfly, all of my regular Bayonetta inputs, if I remember correctly, we're still active. So you're still playing the core gameplay, but as a slower giant creature. So I didn't feel weakened in any way by changing to that form. It really felt like the game was encouraging me to do that.
It's a good sign. Honestly, just hearing all this makes me want to play. I want to try this out just because it's one of those games that just sucks you right in, and I get the sense that that's what happened to you. I'm assuming that 15 minutes flew by.
Oh, yeah. When it was over and he took the controller from me, I was like, that's it? I don't get to play more?
Can I go another round?
I felt pretty good during my gameplay, too. The different sequences I went through, I managed to get golds on the first
nice
try. And, the demo may have been set to an easier difficulty, but...
I was just about to ask that. I was like, well, what is the difficulty like? But, hard to say at this point, but probably easier because that's what they tend to do with these trade shows. They don't want people getting stuck.
I was never in any danger of dying at any point during that demo, so it was probably set to an easier difficulty.
I'm assuming not, but did they give you a chance to try out that I forget what it's called, but the parents don't come in mode? It's like I'm playing innocent things.
No, we played on full-on Bayonetta mode, I guess is what I'll call it. But we did talk about, was it Naive Angel mode? Is that what it's called?
It might be it. I can't remember what it was called. It's something cheeky for sure. But
yeah. They mentioned it during the demo, but no, we played the standard fare. It is nice that that's an option though, in case you have small kids around and you don't want them seeing too much, I guess.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That might allow me to actually play this around, Kai.
That's assuming Bayonetta doesn't say any saucy things. I don't know.
That is also true. Oh boy. I might be in trouble anyway, so whatever. Anything else stand out to you about the demo? Because unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can pick out of this, but it just seems like it's generally an excellent sequel, has some new ideas to put out there, but generally, otherwise is the Bayonetta that you want.
To me, in a way, I think it feels like a bigger leap compared to like 1 to 2. Just like all the new combat options with the demons, it feels like they're going further, which is great because this game's been in development for a long time. Yeah,
it kind of needs it. Bayonetta 2 is, I think, a refinement of it, so it's time to have that sort of evolution. Yeah, I'm jealous. That's all I can really say here, but glad you got to check it out so you can let us know what your thoughts were. And yeah, let us know what you guys think of Bayonetta 3, whether you're excited for it or you're going to be skipping it one way or the other. Very curious to hear. Oh, yeah, don't skip it. Don't skip it. You might be tempted to get Mario and Rabbids. Bayonetta's a better choice. I like it. I mean, I like both. But I know I like both, but it's like, man, there are some really tough options this year. Like, really.
I'll say this: as the big Mario fan that I am definitely leaning Bayonetta right now.
That is saying something, because yeah, you are a massive Mario fan. So yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you all for watching, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. But even just subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell helps us a ton. So yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have even more coverage of Bayonetta 3 as we get closer to release. So be on the lookout for that. And until next time, bye.
See ya.